HoopsOnLane.com Fan Podcast, Episode 43, Minnesota Pregame.
Hoops on Lane Fan Podcast is sponsored by About Face Cosmetic Therapy Center, because basketball season is also laser hair removal season.
You're listening to Hoops on Lane, a fan-produced pregame and postgame podcast about the Ohio State University men's basketball team. Visit hoopsonlane.com or subscribe where you listen to podcasts for all the latest episodes and information. Now here's your host, Dave Horning.
Greetings, Hoops fans. This is Dave Horning for HoopsOnLane.com Fan Podcast with a preview of the next Ohio State Buckeyes game coming up this Saturday, January 20th at noon Columbus time against the Minnesota Golden Gophers in a game that will be played at historic Madison Square Garden in New York City. The game will be televised by the Big Ten Network and on radio at The Fan 97.1 FM. Before the Buckeyes' last game against Northwestern, a team that was ranked number 19 in the AP preseason poll, I was pondering the cause of their disappointing season. Minnesota is also experiencing a disappointing season as they were ranked number 15 in the AP preseason poll. But their disappointing season is more easily understood and explained. Minnesota has lost two of their starters, one due to injury and one due to suspension. On January 3rd of this year, in their third Big Ten game, which was a win at home over Illinois, sophomore guard Amir Coffey sustained a shoulder injury, an injury that is called an HAGL injury, a ligament injury in the shoulder that is treated with rehab and not surgery. His return is not likely anytime soon, but it depends on how he is responding to rehab. So it is conceivable that he could be ready for the game against the Buckeyes this Saturday. Conceivable, but not likely. Their other lost starter is 6'10 senior center Reggie Lynch, last year's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and someone who has been mentioned as a possible NBA draftee. The University of Minnesota suspended him after they found him, quote, responsible, unquote, for misconduct in an incident going back to April of 2016. The incident allegedly took place in his dorm room. Even though he has been suspended indefinitely from athletic competition, he is still practicing with the team. In fairness, it is important to note that he has not been charged with any crime by any police. For more information, read the article by Jeff Eisenberg in The Dagger and at Yahoo Sports. So, after losing these two players, Minnesota struggled to find the right replacements. Originally, Michael Hurt replaced Amir Coffey, but he didn't score any points in the next game, a loss at home to Indiana. Jameer Harris has started the last two games for Minnesota at guard, and he is playing well. At center, the Golden Gophers have been starting 6'11 senior center Bakare Konate. But last night in the game against Maryland, which Minnesota lost by the score of 66-77, Konate played just 13 minutes and had just 2 points, but he did grab 3 offensive rebounds. 6'7 senior forward Devontae Fitzgerald got 24 minutes of playing time and scored 10 points, including making 2 of 3 three-point shots. So who will start and play at center against Caleb Wesson? Does Minnesota coach Richard Pitino give up the rebounding of Konate in favor of the scoring of Fitzgerald? The shorter Fitzgerald would force Minnesota to play small, but that might be doable against the Buckeyes. Their 6'6 junior forward, Jordan Murphy, is a rebounding machine. He gathered 14 total rebounds against Maryland, which included 5 offensive rebounds, and an astounding 19 rebounds against Penn State, including 4 offensive rebounds. Murphy is also their leading scorer at 18 points per game. Here is the Minnesota starting lineup based on last night's game against Maryland. Number 21, 6'11 senior center Bakare Konate. Number 3, 6'6 junior forward Jordan Murphy, their leading scorer and rebounder. That's number 3, Jordan Murphy. Number 1, 6'4 junior guard Dupre McBrayer. Number 2, 6'1 senior guard Nate Mason, their best three-point shooter. That's number 2, Nate Mason. Number 4, 6'2 freshman guard Jameer Harris. Look for number 20, 6'7 senior forward Devontae Fitzgerald to get a lot of playing time and possibly get the start instead of Konate at center. Minnesota is coached by Richard Pitino, who is in his 5th year at Minnesota. Yes, he is the son of former Louisville coach Rick Pitino. Ohio State's starting lineup will be number 34, 6'9 freshman center Caleb Wesson. Number 33, 6'7 junior power forward Keita Bates-Diop. Number 15, 6'2 senior shooting guard Cam Williams. Number 3, 6'1 junior shooting guard or point guard C.J. Jackson. And number 1, 6'4 senior Jayshawn Tate, point guard or small forward. Ohio State is coached by Chris Holtmann in his first year. The two keys for this game will be three-point shooting and offensive rebounding. If Minnesota controls those statistics, they will win. In their loss last night at Maryland, they still gathered 14 offensive rebounds and took 64 total shots compared to just 45 shots for Maryland. But Maryland made 8 of 14 three-point shots for 57%, compared to just 6 of 17 for Minnesota for 35%. The same three-point shooting statistic that Ohio State had at Northwestern, 6 of 17. This will be an exciting game to watch, and HoopsOnLane.com fan podcast, friends and fans, are invited to join me and the Agonis Club members at Endeavor Brewing at 909 West 5th Avenue in Grandview to watch the game in a private room reserved for us. Tip-off is at noon, so arrive at 11:30. There is no cover charge and parking is free at the Goodwill lot just east of the Endeavor building. You're invited to come and learn more about the Agonis Club, a nonprofit organization that provides scholarships for student-athletes in Central Ohio. The club is very active during football season, and they are warming up to this Buckeye team, who are still undefeated in Big Ten play and tied with Purdue for first place. Both teams have identical 7-0 records in Big Ten play. This is Dave Horning for HoopsOnLane.com fan podcast. Go Bucks, and I'll see you at Endeavor Brewing, 909 West 5th Avenue, Grandview Heights, Ohio.